Hello, welcome to the Maniverse. I know I haven't done a video in a while, and that's because my I got a job and my life got very busy. But I still recorded tons of videos. The problem is I have no time to edit, so I've decided that I'm gonna just hire an editor to do it. Hopefully, it won't cost me too much, but that's what I'm gonna do. In the meantime, I'm gonna do some reviews because reviews don't take a lot of editing. So I'm gonna review Quantumania. Now I know this already came out and people have already made their judgments on it and there's an overall view of it, but I just felt the need to review this because it was supposed to be an important movie. And it's a big movie and I think it crosses a threshold Marvel hasn't been in a while, which is that the excitement is going down. And I think this is, it's a consensus online. Everybody says it that Marvel is not what it used to be, and I completely agree. Um, and I have my own views on why that has happened. Um, and I think that the main with this movie, Quantum Media, basically you get the Ant-Man people, and they go to Quantum World, and they basically meet King, and things happen. That's basically the plot. And really, there's some emotional beats, but there's something completely missing from these stories. And I think the main thing, I think, in my opinion, the mistake was made a while ago. And the mistake was made after Endgame. After Endgame, you have Tony's gone, Captain America is gone, and then you have a bunch of these superheroes all in one place after Endgame, mourning what just happened, and then after Endgame, everybody just goes their separate way. What about the Avengers compound? What happened with that? And this is where I think they completely dropped the ball. Because there is no sense of continuity from Endgame to the Phase 4 movies. There's no sense of like connection emotionally or with plot or with character. Um, Thor just goes on his own crazy adventure. Hulk is just MIA on some island. And we find out in another show that that's happening. Hawkeye is just doing his own thing in New York. You know, uh, they completely dropped the ball in that they should have had all those characters stay together, right, and talk about the Avengers and how it goes forward. Do scenes with Wanda and the Hulk. Do scenes with Spider-Man and the Hulk. Do scenes with Spider-Man and Wanda at Tony's compound, talking about everything that just happened and what the future is. I do not buy that these people like the whole point of the Avengers is that you bring all these superheroes together who are very different and learning to work together. That was like the whole point of this of the first three phases. And they end up coming together to fight Thanos. And you're telling me they just like leave? That doesn't make any sense on any level. So personally, what I would do is I would have them stay at an Avengers compound, all these characters, as many of them as possible, rebuilding Avengers compound, talking, trying to figure out what is next. But they're still a team. They're still a functioning unit. Why would the Avengers fall after this? They just beat Thanos and brought everybody back. You would think the world would love them and that they would want to continue, right? They wouldn't just be like, oh, okay, bye. That doesn't make any sense to me emotionally or with plot. So there, they completely dropped the ball. They had the energy. The energy was here. Phase 4, psh, energy is back down to level 1 because they wanted to do some. weird stories with different characters, which is great, but they completely dropped it. And from there, then you can have a Doctor Strange movie. You have everyone on Avengers compound, and then Doctor Strange is like, "Hey, I have to go do this thing because, of course, only I can do it because I'm a magician." And Wanda's like, "Hey, I can come help." Right? And then you have a thing of a battle for the leadership of the Avengers. That would be the next logical thing. Who is going to lead the Avengers? And so you would have these conflicts between Wanda, Doctor Strange, even Spider-Man, people debating who's going to be the next leader, right? And then you do these little stories that show that. Making Wanda go completely evil was also a terrible idea. She is a good person at heart. We've been watching her for so many movies, and she has one bad she has this horrific event and she just goes completely evil and starts enslaving people and murdering people. That is terrible. What is going on in the writer's room? So, like, yes, Multiverse of Madness. I know I'm not talking about Quantumania, but I'm telling you why Quantumania it didn't work. It's because of all these choices. Multiverse of Madness was a lot of fun. It was fun. It was a great fun movie. It is so much fun seeing Wanda as a villain. But it is short-term gain at the cost of a long-term story. And they sacrificed her character because they wanted to have the thrill of seeing her be a villain that they did not earn. They did not earn. They didn't earn it. So these kinds of choices culminated in, Ant-Man, again, being separate from all the Avengers, which doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. Why? I understand in real life people go their own separate ways and they go live their life. But the fact that none of these guys are still in contact with each other is crazy. It's crazy. The Hulk isn't talking to Ant-Man in a WhatsApp group. Come on, man. I don't buy it. They killed the interconnection. That was the biggest mistake of Phase 4. And in this movie, so anyways, that's what led to this movie. And now you're introducing a new villain. And the thing is, it feels forced. It feels forced. It doesn't feel organic in that, for example, Thanos as a villain made sense because he was kind of like inverted Tony Stark in that Thanos is someone who is completely committed to a goal and he's obsessed with it. And he's so obsessed with it for so long, he's willing to do anything to accomplish it. Tony has kind of the same thing. He just didn't know what that thing was. And when he finds out it's his thing to stop Thanos, so is Captain America, they're willing to do anything to stop. And that's what Ultron was. Tony was going to do anything to stop, to protect the world, right? There was a emotional story there of compulsive behavior, right? It made sense in the story they were trying to tell. Here, King is just coming out of nowhere, you know? He doesn't have any we don't know really emotionally where it's all coming from, Like, he has no emotional connection to any of the heroes. I mean, we see him with Janet, right? And she, bonds with him. But, you know, what is Kang's deal, right? What is his deal, right? He's a control freak, wants to control everything. Okay, right? I get that. It's I know there's gonna be more, but the thing is, Ant-Man has nothing to do with this, right? Ant-Man's a happy-go-lucky guy, right? He doesn't really have, his internal conflict is his own. He does have an internal conflict, but it's very, very different from King. So seeing them both in a room together, the fact that they're so different is fun. Don't get me wrong. It is very fun because Ant-Man is so happy-go-lucky and King is not. That's what makes it so much fun to watch. But emotionally, they have no conflict with each other. And that is why the movie doesn't work. But um, that's one reason why the movie doesn't work. Also, they're introducing a major villain, and he is just shown, you know, like in the phase three movies, Thanos was hinted at. He was hyped up. Every movie you got more stuff about him. It increased the mysticism, the mystery, and when you finally get to see him, you're like, whoa, right? You don't get that here. They just fucking show him. The worst part is they just show him. They show him with all of his powers and everything. He was not fully powered in this movie. I'll give him that. This wasn't the most powerful Kang, but it's pretty powerful. And then, spoiler, he just fucking dies at the end. He loses to Ant-Man, and it completely kills your fear of him, his mysticism, because when you're watching King, the most fun part about him is that what is he really capable of? Throughout the movie, what makes him the most dangerous is that you don't really know the extent of his powers, right? Because his powers are insane. But then when he gets beaten at the end, that is completely gone. You know all of his powers and what he's capable of, and so the mystery is gone. So what am I supposed to make of this guy? He's a crazy control freak who loses. I'm not scared of him. I don't even have that much. I don't have much of an emotional connection to him, um, and all that stuff. But the difference is, but here's the thing: Kang is such a cool character in of itself. He is so fucking cool. Like a, the idea of Kang is so much fun. In that, what if a bad guy had control of the multiverse and a million versions of him? That's really cool. But that's all we have right now from it. So they have to do more. Having a really cool villain is not enough. You have to make us care about him in some way and make him connected to the heroes emotionally in some way, which they have failed at. Um, Putting all that aside, the movie Quantumania is again, it's the same. A lot of people are saying there's just way too much CGI. I'm tired of all these CGI environments. Um, but also, this is I'm gonna be Martin Scorsese right now and say it's not cinema, but movies. These movies are. There's nothing wrong with popcorn. There's nothing wrong with fun, but if you watch like Captain America Winter Soldier, it feels like a movie. If that makes sense. You know, this is like more poppy. It's more, you know, there's nothing clever about the direction, right? And it doesn't feel like cinema. I hate saying that, but if I me saying that, I guess people understand what I mean. And we need more of that in Marvel. We need less, you know, I think the studios now are really confused. They are super confused because they're not that smart. Kevin Feige is pretty smart, but I think everything changed with, because they were making serious movies in phase one and in phase two. And phase two was not doing well. And then Thor Ragnarok comes, which is a fun comedy, and it does really well. And the whole studio's like, oh my god, we gotta start making fun, goofy shit. We have to start making these characters make fun of themselves and all that stuff. They start doing that, and yes, the movies are better, right? But it worked because you had Tony Stark, you had Captain America, you had the Hulk, and these were established already as very serious people, right? In very serious movies. So taking these serious characters and, letting them loose a little bit completely works, right? Because you already established them as very serious people. But if you watch like She-Hulk or Moon Knight was great. I love Moon Knight. But all the new stuff they're doing, they're, especially with the new characters, when they're just all fun and goofy and stuff, they don't have a backstory of seriousness, right? To ground them. it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Also, you don't have two main heroes who are like, who have like a conflict or whatever. Like you had Captain America and Iron Man. They were the core of this whole thing. And without them, there's no one replacing them in a conflict, really, like an ideological conflict, right? And personal conflict. There's none of that. So this is why it's failing. So Quantumania was actually a decent movie. It was fun, but that's not enough. That is not enough. You know, they need to do more than that. They need, and I think they're getting kind of cocky, and I really hope that James Gunn and DC get really good. I feel like it's going to DC is going to start getting really good, and I hope it scares Marvel, and I hope it makes Marvel, get more serious about making good shit again. So I hope that happens. Anyways, I give Quantum Mania a B. Whatever. I don't really believe in grades or anything because sometimes you'll see one movie, it's a B, and another movie is a B, but they're Bs for completely different reasons. So letter grading is not that. Expectations and all that stuff is really important. And I did have expectations in that they would, you know, make a villain. First of all, Jonathan Majors, everyone knows, did an amazing job. His character is awesome. He is playing an amazingly cool character. It is like I want to act as King. It is the role of a lifetime. You get to be this badass guy who has a really cool philosophical story of like, he's tough, he's strong, he's smart, he's all that stuff. He's imaginative. He is, ambitious. All these things. It makes for a really fun character, and he plays it really well. There's moments in Quantum Mania where I'm watching an A movie, and it's all the scenes with him, and I'm like watching it, and I'm like, oh man, I wish the whole movie felt like this, And then at the end, they completely, uh, part of my French, pussy him up, and he just fucking loses, and it just kills it. So um, the good news is that there's a million different versions of this character. They can just put him anywhere, and they can basically just try and try again. But I'm very disappointed by the multiverse and how they've handled it. And I've seen some, I forgot the name, Loveness, or I forgot the name of the writer or director of Quantum Mania. I forgot. He's been doing tons of interviews. There's something off with this guy. There's something off with him by the way he's talking. Um, I don't think some people get it, some people don't. I don't think he gets it. And I don't think he's taking it very seriously. And I think that's the worst sin. He doesn't seem like he's very passionate. He's just like going through the motions kind of guy. And he's very Ant-Man 1 and 2. It's just a fun little movie. He's very Ant-Man kind of guy. I don't know why they haven't brought the Russos back. The Russos did a phenomenal job. The Russos get it. The best thing about the Russos is they know how to do action. And they really know how to do action. So I don't know why they let go of the Russos. Maybe something happened. But man, bring them back. Anyways, that's my review of Quantumania. I hope to do more reviews. Um, and I really hope I'm gonna get a video editor and give you the rest of the Sandman episodes. I watched Glass Onion and all that. I did a bunch of reactions. I know they're late, but that's what I'm gonna be doing from now on. Anyways, peace.